Well, welcome to Modeling Time with me, Brian Banna. In the last episode, I basically talked about building the cab and getting that part done. Well, I've finished building the cab, and now it's ready to be glued onto the shell and painted. But I can't glue it onto the shell yet until I get the shell completed. So this video is going to be fairly short, at least in comparison to the previous videos I've been doing. I'm just going to go over the cab and what I did to it and things like that. And show you what I've gotten done on the EMD GP28s, not the rec rebuild. And then I'll go over a little bit of what the next step is. And I have one explanation to do for one of my viewers. He asked if I could explain to him how to build a high nose GP30 in N scale. So that'll be pretty quick. It's very basic. I've done a few of them in N scale when I was modeling in N scale. And I thought, instead of trying to type it all out, I'll just go ahead and explain that to him. So let me get the camera set up over here and let me go over the cab. All right, so the first thing I'm going to go over is the GP28 cabs, the as-built 28s. So these are the two. I got the cabs all done for these. I got them painted, I got them decaled, and I got all the details on them and such. And so those are all done. These are both phase 1A1 units. So the cabs had to have the hump underneath the light housing removed. And so I did that, and I explained that early in the previous video and stuff. So this is what they look like when they're all done and decaled. They got the windows in and everything. They've got a satin varnish on them, so I don't need to do anything to them. So that takes care of those. Nothing special. They're just basic Kato cabs. I've got the details on them that need to be on them and such. So let me put those aside. Just set those up here. Now, for the GP30 cab, let me zoom in on this. Oop, a little too fast. Let me see if I can get that in focus. There we go. Keep it in focus. There we go. All right. So on the GP30 cab, we've got the reinforcing ribs on the roof, as you can see there. And like I said, this is for the phase 1. On the phase 2, these ribs will... Let me get a pointer out here. Sorry, I've never... fully prepared. So on a phase 2, these ribs, you see where they start right here? They will start in the same position, but they will go straight back. So they'll be parallel, and they'll be parallel with this center weld overlap, or the overlap joint. I've got the Sinclair antenna in. I've got the weld joint up here on the number boards. I've got the windows in, and I'm going to explain to you. I got to stop trying to talk so fast. So I'm going to try to explain to you, or I will explain to you, what's going on with the windows and what happened with them and such. I've got the stock or the P2K sanding hatch on. I've got the straight grabs on the nose with some PBL NBWs there on the side of the nose. On the GP30, it's a straight grab on the side of the nose and not a drop grab. And same for the top. So I've got all the NBWs around there. The sub base is Kato, and it's been cut so everything fits in the back and the angles are cut in and stuff like that. All of the all of the joining areas have been glued. From the inside with CA, and from the outside a small bead of the Tamiya Extra Thin in the green bottle. So this is just to back up the joint and to help seal any of the gaps that might have appeared and stuff. But it's the CA on the inside that really held it together. When I put this together, there was a big gap right here. So you can see the white line. That's some styrene filled in there and then scraped and sanded smooth. So the joint should be okay there. I've got the holes drilled for the wind deflectors, and the number board's in, the lights are in, you can see that, and I've got the door handles on. Those are precision scale there, and there. I've got the back step in, which I think I showed you before. And I've got the holes drilled for the windshield wipers. All right, now I used part of the A&B window kit on this cab. You cannot use all of the windows, and I'll explain to you why. When they make a mold, they can't pull the mold apart. If there's any angles, they can't pull them perpendicular to those angles. They have to pull the mold straight out. So when they do that, any features on that face of the angle, any depth to those features will be straight and not perpendicular to it, so that they can get the mold out. So when they mold these windows, instead of being molded perpendicular to the angle of the face, they're molded straight on with the face of the cab. So when they pull out, there's an angle to these windows. So when you try to use an A and B window, those are cut. There's a very, very slight draft angle to them, but they do not mate up perfectly with the angled windows. Now these windows I was able to get in. They worked out okay because the angle's a little bit shallower here than it is here. So I was able to get those ones in. Those ones worked out good. From behind, I glued them in. I put a bead of canopy cement in from behind, thinned it a little bit with water, put it in behind. Those are solid. But these windows are the stock P2K windows. Now the P2K windows come with the windshield wipers molded onto them, and it's horrible. I'm sorry, but it's horrible. But anyways, what I had to do is take a very sharp knife and shave them off. Now you have to be very careful when you shave them off, because if you take too big of a bite, they're going to pull away from the window and leave a little bit of a ragged surface there. But if you shave them carefully, a little bit at a time, and get them off, you should be able to repolish this window without any problems there. Now, underneath the masking, you'll see that everything's masked here on the sides and in the back. Underneath the masking, you can you can easily see where the windshield wiper used to be. I couldn't polish it all the way out. I'm sure there's some compounds I could use and such, but I'm not too worried about it, because when I put this windshield wiper back in, it's going to follow that pattern that was on there. Now, it's not like in your face visible at all. I was able to polish it so that it was kind of hidden and stuff like that. But you'll see it when the glass comes off, or when the tape comes off. So these windows, I cleaned them up from behind, and then I glued them in with CA, because I do not want these windows popping off. I can't get to them. As you can see, the inside of the cab is all closed up. There's no way to get into those windows. Same with the LEDs. If these LEDs ever go out, which I don't think they will, but if they ever go out, this locomotive will never be a lead locomotive again. So that's one of the sacrifices I had to make building the model the way that I'm building it. So also this A and B window can go in. This one fit okay as well. The side windows are the stock P2K side windows. Everything was cleaned up and again glued in with CA, with thin CA, and then backed up again with a little bit of medium CA. So those windows are solid in there, and you can push on them, and I mean, you can't gorilla push on them, they'll come out, but you can put normal picking up pressure and stuff like that on them, and they'll stay where they are. So this cab is ready to go on to here, but like I said, I can't glue that on there yet till I build the hood. Let me zoom back because you can't really see a whole lot. Wide angle, there we go. So like I said, I can't glue this cab on until I get the hood done. So the next thing on the hood that I need to do is to build in this Athearn paper air filter box. So that's going to go right in there, but it'll come out, go even with the top of the hood and like that. So I got to design and build that into there. So that takes care of, let me see, this cab, and I can set that aside and start working on the hood. Now, Real quick, is there anything else I need to talk about here? No. And also I've built the, let's see if I can find them. Oh, they're in a bag. Never mind. I've built the Cannon & Company brake pump, and it'll go, of course, in the nose on the side there. So that's no big deal. The class lights will be the stock P2K glass that'll go in there, and I'll just be able to put it in from behind up here. I'll clean off the tabs that are on either side. The glass is still in excellent shape, so they'll get glued in there. So that takes care of that. And then after it's all painted and clear coated and all that stuff, then I'll put the lights, lenses into the light housing. So that pretty much takes care of that. One thing I wanted to show you here on this GP28, the leading fan is going to be one of these fans from the Atlas SD24s. So I hollowed out the inside of the Cannon fan housing and made the Atlas part fit in there. But what I didn't like is there's these little bolt tabs around the Atlas part. And when you put it on the housing, they just kind of hang out there. It's like, what are they connecting to? So I made these little tabs that would be the portions that they screw that into to hold the fan down. So that will pretty much go like that. And let me zoom in on that, and then you can see. There we go. So you can see the little tabs that are around the fan base. So that takes care of this. These are ready for a primer. So I can, keep going the wrong way. So these I can get primed. They got everything done. I've got the holes all drilled for the grab irons. The NBWs will go on after it's painted because they're going to be yellow, so I got to paint them yellow. I've got the where is it? What was I going to talk about here? I can't remember. So this one's done as well. So I got these two ready for paint. I'll grit blast them, and then I will get them painted. And other than that, I'm just moving along, making some progress here. So let me explain real quick how to do an N-scale GP30. Okay, on an N-scale GP30, everything, the cab, everything is one piece. Well, the cab, I believe, is one piece. No, the cab is separate, but the shell and all that's one piece. So anyway, what you want to do on the N-scale version is on the nose, there will be a parting line that runs up the side of the nose. Like all models with the noses, EMD noses, has a parting line where the face of the mold fits in and then the side of the mold fits together. So that is your guide for cutting. So what you want to do is you want to cut this nose out here, and you want to cut the top of the nose off. Now, don't cut, when you cut the top of the nose off, just cut it just a little bit below where the nose curves over and goes vertical. On the front, you want to cut the nose on the outside of that parting line. So you want to cut all that out, and then you want to use that parting line, and you want to make the front of your nose on both sides even with that parting line. That'll be your point of contact for your new nose to glue on. So you want to make that squared up, and you don't want to go past that parting line. You want to stay right on that parting line. So now you've got the front of the nose cut off, and you got the top of the nose cut off. Now, here's what you want to do with the top of the nose. When you cut this nose top off, you want to cut it off just a little bit below, like I said, where that curvature comes around, because you're going to reuse the top of this nose. So you're going to cut that off all the way around. What matters is that this cut and your finishing cut is squared up with that parting line. What matters up here is that this cut is perpendicular to that parting line. So you want all this to be squared up. You're going to have, when you're done, you're going to have two wings. You're going to have this side and you're going to have this side. No top of the nose, no face of the nose. So you're going to reuse the top of the nose, okay? Next, what you're going to do, you're going to have to get another shell and you're going to use the long hood end. So what you're going to do on the back, there's going to be another parting line that runs all the way down the hood on both sides, and you're going to have a parting line that runs this way for where the top of the mold is. So you got a parting line running horizontal here, and you have a parting line running vertical here. What you want to do is you want to cut this off on the inside of the parting line, and then clean your cut up to the parting line. So you want this to be perfectly in line with your parting line. So you want your finishing, when you're done with this hood end, you're going to have the hood end and nothing on top. So what you want to do up top is there's a parting line that goes all the way around here. You want to cut down to that parting line. So you want this squared up with this, because that parting line right there and the top of your nose, where it comes down, you want to keep the rollover, and then there will be a parting line on your nose. So that parting line and that parting line will mate up. That way the top of your hood is perfect. So now, so you've got this end, and you don't want to make this, the cut that I just explained, on the model part that you're keeping. I'm going to explain something very, very interesting. Forget about what I just said. So on your model you're keeping, you're not cutting anything off here. You're only cutting the nose portion off. So, okay. So when you get this part all cleaned up from the part you're using, so you got the parting line cleaned up here, the parting line cleaned up there, then you're going to come back to your nose and you're going to glue that right to the face of the nose. So it's going to be up as tall as you need it here. Now, you remember, you've cleaned up to this parting line, and you've cleaned this portion up to this parting line, so those two parting lines will mate right at the front of your nose. So now you got a piece of nose coming up, and you've got your wings glued to the bottom portion. So then you're going to cut a piece of styrene that, abuts this portion here that you've cut, runs from the inside of your nose piece to your cab, and will finish up at the same height of where you've cut this parting line off. So you've got this piece of hood here. So that'll finish your nose from the bottom to the top, minus this piece, minus your top of your nose. So you're going to have a piece of this side, or this portion of your hood or your nose is going to be all the way up to the top here where the parting line was. Then you're going to take this nose and you're going to transplant it back on top of your high hood area and then glue all that together. For your cab, you're just going to have to cut this area out where the number boards is and just refill. Actually, you need to keep, your number boards here, but not your lights and stuff. So you're going to have to cut this to a point and all that stuff. So this will have to just all get filled in. So that's basically how you do an N-scale high hood GP30. Well, that takes care of this video. You've seen that I have the cab all done and it's ready. Well, not all done, but all done as far as I can go. I can't put the windshield wipers on and things like that, of course, until after it's painted and things like that. But I can start working on this hood. I'm going to do a big push to get this done. I want this done and the GP28's done before Christmas break, because I got a special project I want to start on Christmas break. I'll be off for maybe 3 weeks, and I want to see if I can get a model done in 3 weeks. I'm not going to go any further into that. I'm still in the planning stages of it. But, you know, the things that kept me from getting this video done and getting the cab done right away and stuff is I finished my friend's Erie Lackawanna GP35. I did a big push last weekend and finished it up, finished all the paint work and stuff like that. I have to debug something in it. The sound is working, but the motor is not working. So I got to figure out what went wrong. It was working for a while, and then he said he tried to run it today. It lurched forward, then stopped, and I don't know. I don't know if there's a short on. Well, if there was a short, then there wouldn't be any sound, I guess. But I'll look and see, and I'll open this up and see what's going on with it. So that takes care of the cab on the Rec Rebuild GP30 or GP28, and we're moving right along. And I hope to bring some really cool stuff to you when I work on the hood. I've got some special things I want to do to it to make it look really cool, or you know, a little bit of detail added here and there that some people haven't seen before maybe, and stuff. I've got these GP30 grills that I've had made a long time ago. I'm going to give them a shot again. I made them work once. I'm going to try to make them work again. If they don't work, then this middle fan is just going to be plated off, where they took the middle fan off and they're using the outside fans for the rebuild. But I'm going to give that a really good shot, because if it works, they look really, really cool. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you're looking forward to seeing this model get done like I am. And again, you know, I really appreciate you watching and taking the time to watch, and I'll catch you in the next video.